We have a certain doctrine. We have a certain manner of life. And Paul taught that to Titus. He taught it to Timothy as they traveled with him. In 2 Timothy chapter 3, verse 10, he says, you observe my manner of life. When Billy Graham was 86 years old, he had a beginning of Parkinson's. And he knew he wasn't going to live much longer. He knew he didn't have much left. And he got invited to speak at a gathering. And they said, Billy, it would be such an honor. And his friends that invited him, they said, we don't want you to give a long address. It doesn't have to be a sermon. Just if you could just say a few words, it would mean the world to us. And so he wanted to do it. And his family took him out. And they had some hard talks. They bought him a brand new suit. And so when he got to the front, he only spoke for a few minutes. But he began with a story about Albert Einstein, who was on a train going to Princeton when Einstein was a bit older. And Einstein was there sitting on the train, and Billy Graham's telling the story. The conductor came and was checking everybody's tickets, and Einstein couldn't find his ticket. He was looking in his pockets, and the conductor recognized this. That's Albert Einstein. I know who he is. He's probably speaking at a lecture. And he walked up to Albert and said, hey, Mr. Einstein, it's quite all right. I know who you are. You don't need to show me your ticket. You're fine here. And I said, thank you, sir, and I appreciate that. And the conductor went on checking everybody's ticket, but he noticed Einstein was still looking. He was looking under his chair. He was looking in his briefcase. He was looking for the ticket. And he came back to Dr. Einstein and said, Dr. Einstein, it's quite all right. You don't need to show me the ticket. I know who you are. It's fine. And Einstein looked at the conductor and said, I know who I am too. The problem is I don't remember where I'm going. So I have to find my ticket. So I know where to get off. And Billy Graham told that story. He said, hey, I know who I am, but I know where I'm going. I know that I'm going to go to heaven. And he said, this new suit my wife and my kids got me, it's for 2 occasions. It's for today, because I'm going to preach and share it. And I want to look nice. And this is the suit I will be buried in. And when I am buried, I will be in heaven. You think about that for a minute. He understood where he was going. I mean, we don't have many better examples in our day and age than Billy Graham, who preached all over the world, probably led more Christ than anybody. And scandalous life. There was no scandals. There was no skeletons in his life. We want to live lives that are examples in doctrine, but also in desire. In 1 Timothy chapter 3, it says, the husband of one wife. If you're married, enjoy your spouse. Love your spouse with all your heart. That's a good example. You know, it worries me a little bit that the younger culture, they get excited about womanizing. They get excited about playing the field. They glamorize it as though it's something to behold, like, hey, look at all these women. It's not glamour. Let me tell you, the best thing in life is love. It's God's love. And after God's love, to love somebody and have somebody love you, to love your friends and have your friends love you, love your children, you have your children love you. That's the best of life. But I think we need to show a good example of that. That before the congregation comes my wife. But before my kids comes my spouse. He says, be the husband of one wife. And in 1 Timothy chapter 3, verse 3, he says, and make sure that these men are not given to filthy lucre. They're not greedy. They're not trying to take advantage of you. Listen, just because some of us ministers wear fancy rings, some of us actually earned this ring and won this ring and didn't even pay for it now. They're going to say, Pastor's filthy lucre, he's going to pawn that ring. Yeah, I wouldn't pawn it. Your finger will be green in no time, but you have to learn this secret that godliness with contentment is great gain. If you can learn to enjoy the things you have and strive to be godly, your life will be filled with joy and love and peace. But those that desire to be rich, they pierce themselves through with many sorrows. And I don't want you to live that way. You know, the other day I didn't mean to shave off my mustache. I keep forgetting. I noticed everyone doing double takes. Like, what happened to that